Momo. I feel so lucky to be up here with you today. You've grown to become my best friend, and together we're surrounded by friends and family who are fortunate to be able to say the same. We're so lucky. Our support system is immense, and you embracing Larry, my crazy group of friends, and my loud family like you have means the world. I vow to support you, to believe in you, to encourage you. I vow to provide for you. I vow to never stop loving you and to always keep you in this. And lastly, I vow to do my best to always do
Hello, guys. Brian Steels here. Wanted to bring you some information regarding Michael McKee. This is Dr. Michael McKee, who is inside this jail right.
Whoops, I'm muted. Hey guys, happy Monday. Welcome back to Truth and Transparency. Hey, got a case of the Mondays. Just that type of day. But a friend of the channel here, she has a small channel herself, and she went and she's outside where the courthouse is. So I want to show you guys this. She posted this video earlier. If you guys could drop, one of the mods could drop the link in the chat. You guys can go on over to her channel, check it out. Bronx Tales True Crime. Here you go. She's done work with the Idaho 4 case, has covered that. So here, check this out.
Here, 650 West State Street, Winnebago County, Rockford, Illinois. He is located literally right here. This is in regards to the red rum of Spencer and Monique Tepe out of Columbus, Ohio. Now, Dr. Michael McKee lives in Chicago, Illinois, and travels to Rockford for work. That's a 2-hour drive. He is a vascular surgeon. They were married. Michael McKee and Monique Tepe were married 11 years ago nearly. As of December 30th, Spencer and Monique Tepe were found deceased in their home. They have her chest cavity. Now, I'm not sure a vascular surgeon is going to be traveling like that when he needs to respond to an emergent call. Rockford, Illinois. Dr. Michael McKee.
So you guys can go ahead and check it all out there. Wanted to just preview it here for you guys to go check it out. Welcome. All right, let's bring in next up. We are said that there's going to be cameras in the courtroom for this. It should be a very minimal hearing, very minimal. But will he waive extradition? Does he have a lawyer there?
Well, good morning to you too, Julie. Yeah, crazy story after a 10-day manhunt. Michael McKee arrested. This is Monique Tepe's ex-husband, arrested for the double.
Now, I did speed them up. Okay, they are not on speed. I sped them up. Okay. So I started my coverage here earlier than 1:30 today because we're going to try to get through some different different parts of the case and where we're at today.
Murders of Spencer and Monique. And here's the kicker, Julie. According to court documents, police say they saw Michael's car in the area shortly before the murders and then leave shortly after. All of that caught on surveillance. And then they eventually tracked that car all the way back up to Rockford, Illinois. And as you mentioned in your opening statement, Julie, he is a vascular surgeon in Illinois, in Chicago, to be exact. So just a very horrific story here. Now, he has a court appearance set today. Now, he had to appear in Illinois first because they had to start the formal extradition process. And then he'll come right here behind me in Columbus, Ohio, to the Franklin County Municipal Court, where a bond will be set. And then this case will move on to a grand jury to see if any more charges will be filed. And then he'll be in court for there and then have to go to a grand jury for a potential indictment to see if those additional charges will be filed, Julie.
Right, Cody. Cody, any particulars, if you know, about what time we expect him to make the appearance and when the extradition process is expected to get underway?
Well, I was reading and researching. He said he had to make his first appearance in Illinois, of course, before being extradited down here. Now, that hearing was scheduled for this morning, so it could be any day this week or even later this afternoon, depending on how quickly that goes up in Illinois before he gets down here to Columbus, Julie. But again, he has to go through there, then it goes to that grand jury to see if more additional charges will come on. But very horrific story, Julie. And you know, it's very interesting because the house had no signs of forced entry. Now, it was one of those houses that had a keypad, a key code to get into the front door. So that begs the question, how did he get inside this house?
Right, Cody. Certainly one of the most troubling questions in this case.
That's going to be the most important. Speaking of how you got into a house, let's talk about on December 19th, 2025. We went ahead and we got that 911 call in its entirety, as well as the CAD notes. Okay. And we have a 2:31 and at 2:31 in the morning and 15 seconds, that call came out. An officer was then dispatched at 2:34 and 25 seconds in the morning. And then at 2:40 and 57 seconds in the morning, an officer then arrived at this property. And this property was 1462 North 4th Street. And so anybody that's wanting to say, like, oh, it was like a neighbor or something like that, I told you guys it was not. It's across the street, and it's before you actually get to where their 4 houses are right there. It's going to be across the street and then up about, I don't know, 6, 7 houses, 6, 7, I don't know. And then at 2:44 in the morning and 32 seconds, it was then closed. So they actually dispatched somebody there. We are awaiting the dash and body cam as I speak here to you guys. It's very interesting, though, that we've been looking, and I got lots of questions about this call. I'm not sure if anybody's played the 911 call in its entirety. I don't know if people just went off of the CAD where it says someone banging and knocking on the caller's door. Caller won't look out or see who it is, then won't yell or ask them what they want, ... Then the dispatch employee writes, nothing useful. And then says problem left and 2V. So like, but basically in the CAD notes, it's like saying this caller didn't give us anything useful. I've listened to the 911 call, and that call is so like, you can't even, they have to ask, what's your name? What's your name? How do you spell? Like, is this how I say it? Is this? So we'll get all into that, but that was on December 19th. And so the reason I want the body cam of the officer that arrives is because to see if this person has any interaction with the police when the police actually arrive, okay? Or does this person like not answer the door that called? Also, where the phone call originated on the cell towers for this 1219 call, it's a lot further out, okay? And then I did a huge deep dive this morning and last night to put together, and I'll be providing at some point today, of the 20 cell towers for that AT&T have, Verizon, and T-Mobile, and then the type of coverage that it provides in all the different areas. So I went and got all the mapping. I'll show you guys that.
Someone had to have known that code in order to enter. So if it was Monique Tepe's ex-husband who did this, how then did he get the code? Cody, I understand that there was an opportunity for friends and family.
You know, like, how did you get the code? Or when people want to say, well, maybe the door was just unlocked. What? We're talking about somebody that was and has been afraid of this person coming back in their life and causing like physical harm to them down the road, like telling friends and saying stuff like, I don't know, he said he was going to kill me. Like, wait, what? You know, it's not one of those things that you're saying, oh my God, I could just kill you right now for what you did. Like, you know, but it's somebody repeating those words to a friend and then saying, yeah, like, I don't know, he said that he wanted to kill me. He said he was going to kill me. So also just the delusion of like that they're ever going to get back together. But anybody that's saying something like, well, when I'm done, I'm going to just come and buy the house next to you and live next to you. I mean, but then you got to go and look at it. I was listening to a defense attorney this morning say, you know, pump the brakes here because so much time has passed that, you know, that's a big leap. Okay. The amount of time that's passed, that it's a big leap, and we really have to look at what they have for probable cause and what they've been able to develop in this case. And I think anybody that knows me here at this channel is I'm always actually on that side of like the whoa. Everybody is 1000% here at this channel. You are innocent until proven guilty. And it is on the prosecution to put the pieces together to show the jury that it's beyond a reasonable doubt.
To pay their respects for Dr. Spencer and Monique Tepe on Sunday. Tell us, please, a little bit about what happened.
Absolutely, Julie. You know, this community just really shaken by this because this is an up-and-coming community in Columbus, Ohio, in the Wyland Park area.
And I just wonder if some there, when you have your wedding.
I want to hear Jen.
Tommy Pope. Good morning to you both. Jen, let me begin with you with that troubling question that Cody and I were just talking about. How might Dr. Michael McKee, the defendant who's accused in this case, have obtained the code information to the front door of his ex-wife's home?
All right, so I'm really interested to see how she's going to answer this question. If this question was posed to me, I know exactly what I would say, and it would be that I think that's really, really important because not only is this person going to be traveling, you know, anywhere between 6 and 7 hours, 6-7 to get here, then they're going to be traveling that back, and you're just going to say, oh, I just hope that I'm going to bring my gun this day that I just, you know, got off the black market, filed off the serial number, and I just hope that this door is going to be open when I get there, you know, and that there's not going to be the alarm on or any of the alerts, even if the alarm isn't on. So let's hear what Jennifer Coffindaffer has to say about this. I believe that you would have to have some intel here.
Well, you know, very early on, it was so concerning that they had their wedding there. When you have your wedding there, imagine all the people who might have been exposed to that code. Everything from friends.
Oh my gosh. I cannot believe this right now. They had their wedding there. You guys, there was like 20 people there. Like, you have like family over for, you know, New Year's Eve, Christmas. We just had 50 people. Wow. So she thinks that people got the code when they were there for the wedding.
Family, associates, and also the caterers and so on and so forth. They were married, even though it's been about 9 years ago that they've been divorced. They were married. The
wedding that she's speaking about was in 2021. And you think that you give the caterers your code to your house? But I like where her headspace is. Her headspace is right where my headspace is that who had this code and who gave them this code to Michael D. McKee, right? Think about it. Her headspace is right there with like, that means one of the people that you trust gave this code to this man. But then here's my next step though. Awesome, great. So he got the code, right? If you think that. But when you come into a house, you have like X amount of time to pump in the code before then whatever. But guess what still happens? You still get alerted when the front door opens, when the back door opens. Whether it's like the chimes that you have or like the verbalization of front door open, right rear window open. Also, did they have anything in their master bedroom where you
likely have many.
You have your keypad. You could have two keypads. One that's in the master, that's in your room, and then there's a panic button that you can have. We're going to discuss all of this, and then there's obviously down in like the main area wherever you put your pad. So I cannot emphasize this enough. If you're going to have a security system, you need to have two pads. You need to have one where you sleep. Otherwise, in my opinion, what is the use of a pad? Obviously, when you come in, and it's for you to like just say, okay, I'm shutting off my alarm. Great, awesome, right? But think about it. If you go to bed at night and your pad is downstairs because your pad, to hit a button, it's an automatic alert 911. They have like panic buttons now too that you can put wherever. Why would you ever not have a keypad in your bedroom? That's where you'd want it. So if anybody has security systems out there, I can't urge you enough to really think about the fact that you'd want a keypad in your master bedroom.
Mutual friends, and I just wonder if somewhere in different conversations he at some point obtained that from a wedding goer from a mutual friend.
Oh, that's a good thought. That's a really good thought, Jen. Yeah. Tommy, let me ask you about another thought. Could this have been obtained through a hacking? I keep thinking for some reason it's stuck in my head, a hacking of a phone or some device to get a front door code. Thoughts on that?
I would be surprised. I think you would see that more often, if that was the case by people that didn't know each other, just criminals in general. Relationship wise, even them being married, like Jen said, there may be relationship. It might be the one we always use, where she always used her birthday or whatever, if that's the case. And I was thinking, I know this happened at the middle of the night, but according to how their relationship has played out over the years, you can't say that he wasn't given, to drop something by, according to how testy their relationship was. I see they have a Ring camera at the door. So if it was the front, hopefully, I could even see him knocking on the door in the middle of the night with my car broke down and I didn't know who else to ask. Because all he really did is the door open to get a pistol involved and back him on and get him on into the house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're both raising such good points. Was he given it? If it was an amicable divorce and there were no problems, was this someone that?
Well, that's not what it was. So we can all eliminate that. Also, let's be honest. If this person didn't go to the front door, okay, this person can't penetrated this house from behind. Okay. Oh God, that actually sounded horrible. Nobody clipped that.
Was trusted. And like you said, we know police have said they believe the couple was killed on the top floor, but we haven't heard whether or not they answered the door in the middle of the night. So, those are all really good theories that you both postured here about this. Jen, I want to go back to you. The idea of the why now is so troubling, I think, for a lot of people. I was just doing a discussion on the radio a few minutes ago with my friends back in Pittsburgh at the Odyssey station there. And they were saying, she was divorced since 2017 from this man. Why?
Separated in 2016. Let's see what she says about this. Why now?
Now, what do you think about that time frame, please?
Well, I find it very interesting. If you look back at their divorce, it was amicable. He actually got to keep the home. There was no alimony or any sort of money awarded.
She didn't want the home. She never wanted to move there. It was supposed to be temporary as it was. It wasn't like, this is our home. We're starting a life here in Virginia. Okay.
In addition, she says in those papers that I guess she paid for her own wedding ring. So it was a really clean split. They had a private judge.
I have a couple things to say about paying for the ring. What she was showing is that I paid this amount. When you have to, in Ohio, you have to fill out what you call a property affidavit form. You have to fill out all of your assets go on one side, and everybody's talking about like what they have in each of their bank accounts, if there's a joint account. So you're listing everything, and you're listing. So there it's like, hey, this ring and the wedding ring and the engagement ring are on two separate lines. And she says, I paid this amount of money. That does not mean that that's what the wedding ring or the engagement ring was worth. It's just like, this is what I paid. Okay, so that's going to go on my side of the balance sheet. All right. That's what you do in Ohio. This is all customary on how, when you're filling out these, these forms. So we have no idea how much the ring was. It's just, I paid that amount of money. So if you think about it, your engagement ring is technically, how do you look at that? It was actually, you got that before marriage, right? But is that part of, I can never understand if a guy ever wanted a ring back. Like, I'm sorry, but the psychological, like for me with that, it's like, yeah, I guess if you want to go sell it and you want the money, right? But please tell me that you're not going to be keeping it in any way, shape, or form. Okay. Like,
typically where you just work it out behind, the headlines, right? And work out your divorce and it's over. But this is what I think.
So I would like to know more of like, who got to keep that ring? Just because she's saying that she paid for that, maybe he has it and hey, but I paid this amount and I want that to go on my side and I need to get my money for that, or I need to be credited for that.
When I look back as an example on different cases I had where grudges were held, if you look at a recent case, the Brown University shooting, that guy, Valente, held a grudge for 3 years. He had multiple plans for going and killing his former colleague and committing the Brown shooting. I think this was festering and festering and festering over years. And the happier she got and the perfect life she had, the more he wanted to destroy.
Okay, so interesting, because the only way that's possible that you would know that she has this perfect life is by knowing what she's doing. And that would mean that you're able to, like, what? Was her media, social media public? Was it not public? I'm telling you, this is a girl that changed her ways after this man. Okay. That she didn't want to ever talk to him again, didn't want to ever see him again. She referred to him as a monster, and she would never say his name. People in their close circle did not know this man's name until after they were murdered, because he was never referred to as, like, it was not like, oh, do you remember Mike and blah, blah, blah. No, his name was never, ever said. So there was people that didn't even know his name. They knew of him and that what she thought of him. Okay. But what's his name? So.
Oh, Jen, I think you're right on the money. I think you're right on the money there. And you both know this. And Tommy, legally looking at those divorce documents, there may not be anything on the face that says the relationship was dangerous or volatile or anything like that. But we know from experience, what's on paper isn't always true, right? Do you think it's possible, Tommy, that maybe he exhibited signs of abuse or violence or something early on that made her say, "Ooh, I got to get away, and I don't want to anger him more. We're not going to put any of this in. I'm just going to get out." And maybe he was.
I have a feeling she'd be saying something like, "I should have never married him. I called it off a couple different times. I don't even know why I ever did it." You know what I mean? Like it. Maybe it also something like, "Well, let's just see what happens, and then like if this continues this way, then I'm out." I mean, I don't know. But somebody that's going back and forth and saying, okay, no, I'm not, I'm calling off, the wedding's off, saying that to friends. I get it. You can vent to friends and be like, dude, I'm done. I'm calling this wedding off. This wedding's off. But when you're changing the date and pushing things back, okay, that's people that she was supposed to marry, like, Mike and her were supposed to get married before other friends of theirs were supposed to get married. And it ended up that these other friends got married before them because of it being pushed back. Okay. That's going to come out.
Still trying to exert control. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, digging into it, you look, Garth Brooks, because most divorces have country music as the background music for it. So Garth Brooks said, she's going to make it, he never will. And I think if you look at a divorce, the fact that it was amicable, the one that doesn't want the divorce is the one that seems to carry it. She's moved on with her life. And as far as it being a length of time, it's like Jen said, there may have been a triggering event. There may have been one.
Okay, so then we're going to talk about this triggering event. Just 6 months earlier, just about June of 2025, and then September of 2025, there was movement in their divorce case file. But I have experience with Columbus, the Franklin County courts, the family court system, and I don't know what they do, okay? But they have glitches. It happened to me, okay? I'm over here getting a notification one day of vacated something or other, and I'm like, what is this? What vacated? What's there's nothing. What's being vacated? You know, but I got an alert. Okay, I was pro se, my email is on it. I get an alert to my email. When I say I get an alert, I get an email. And then if my email is alerting me like, hey, I got a new email, and I'm like, what the heck is why am I getting a message from blah, blah, blah? Like the courts, and looking then at my email. If that happened, okay, depending on, we have it down that I don't know what email address either one of them would have, but could either one of them or both of them have gotten that alert that something had been filed, but it really wasn't filed in their case? That there was a new date set for a hearing and then a continuation. Just the mere fact that, and then did either one of them not call each other, but did they call the courts? Did they even know about it? Did they? So we would probably know about that once they look at the cell phones and to see if an alert had happened. Okay. If you have a lawyer and you never put your email address down, and you're not going to get notifications like that. We have Michael D. McKee being a pro se litigant in that. Okay. So he would get an alert if his email address was the same. If he never used the email address that he had back then that was on that, then no, he wouldn't. So, and I can tell you that the address on that account for her, it does not say anything about 1411 North 4th Street. Okay.
A Facebook post where she's just finally gotten so happy that he can't stand it anymore. They did this, or, you know, and you don't know what's cooking in his head. And you're right, Julie, it might not be in the paper. And the fact that it was amicable from a division standpoint, you know, in some scenarios.
They didn't have anything. There was nothing to divide.
Point to end for now on the discussion. We're going to continue it in just a moment. Jen Coffindeffer, Tommy Pope, thank you much. Stand by, please. As we hit a break, of course, we're thinking about the family and the friends who love this couple so much, Dr. Spencer and Monique Tepe. And you
know, that there's going to be a report that there was some information that they were.
All right, now here.
Who's a dentist, and it was his coworkers who really were sounding the alarm bells early on. The morning that he didn't show up for work, the office opens at 8 a.m. and at 9 a.m. they were calling 911. And they were saying it's really concerning that he and his wife weren't answering their phones, especially her. What if anything, should we read into that? Let's bring back in retired FBI Special Agent Jennifer Coffindeffer and welcome in criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Mario Gallucci. Jen, I'll start with you on this. Is this was something you were saying you were...
See, they need to have a defense person on. If you're going to have a prosecution person on, you need to have a defense person on. Like I said, I heard from a defense attorney today, and I liked his message, and it was just like, you know, pump the brakes here. He's in Illinois. This happened in, you know, Columbus. What is he being arrested off of? You know, there's a lot. That's a big leap. 10 years has passed. And then he just drives, commits this crime, and turns right back around and drives back.
Troubled by from the outset. Your thoughts now?
Right, absolutely. It was troubling that within well less than an hour, his coworkers were so concerned that
I don't understand why people think that this is so concerning. Okay. I have to go back to the Chris Watts days. Okay. This is not how they reported anything in 2018. When Nicole Atkinson was standing on vehicles, looking in the house, driving to the doctor's appointment, everybody thought, "What a great friend." Here, these people are like, "Let's talk about this." It's like, dude, this is a dentist. Okay, these friends of them, their friends. This is somebody that just does not call. He has an hour and 30-minute drive. Like once you hear that and how far it is away, and this is somebody that we're talking that he would have been incapacitated to do anything from way before, not showing up at 8. Then you got to back it up to 6:30. If you got to be there at 8, you got to leave at 6:30. That's putting you up at like 5:30. So I just think I think it's very interesting. And you got 2 little kids, and you're calling the wife then too, because like I said, all these people are like, they're coworkers, but then they become like friends. You're hanging out like family friends wise. You're having, hey, so and so, and his wife's gonna come over and bring the kids, and we're all gonna hang out. It's bizarre that they're still talking about this and that it's so crazy. He's a dentist. Okay, this is his practice. You think he's just not going to call? And he would know if he's going to be late an hour and a half before, like when he gets in the car. If he gets in the car at 7, he knows that he's not going to be there at 8. He knows that it takes an hour and 30 minutes. I'm going to tell them now. And in fact, I'm going to get one of the girls to call my first patient and say, hey, if you could hold off on coming in until 8:30 because or 9 or whatever, because doc is running late. I mean, that's what you talk about customer service. That's what you would want to do. So Spencer would know that he's going to be late the moment that he would get into his car and see that it's, hey, I'm leaving at 7. I'm just not going to tell anybody. So that's why, to me, it's like, this is a no-brainer why you'd be so concerned, because he has all of the time before when he's supposed to be there that he's supposed to be driving in a car. I would have questioned like a car accident. Okay, that would have been my first thought, is that he was in a car accident. Okay, my first thought would have been he was in a car accident, and I would have been calling the Ohio sheriffs, the people that, the Ohio State Patrol. I would have been calling them to see if, there was an accident reported. And that's exactly what Mark asks. Has anybody called in for him before me? And it's just like, these are educated people that have common sense. And so you're asking questions, you're giving as much information as you can. He's in Florida, but she had wanted him to call for whatever reason. When I say she, Cam, the dental hygienist, she sent her husband, Jeff, to go to the house. But they live so far away that it's like, by the time we get there or Jeff gets there, an hour is going to pass because where you're coming from. Like, these are responsible human beings. Okay. So it's one thing we couldn't get a hold of Spencer. Now we're trying to call her and we can't get in touch with her, and she's supposed to be home there with the children. That's when you're like, okay, something is way wrong. Spencer's not here. He didn't call. And now we're trying to get in touch with her. Nothing.
Even called their boss, who was vacationing in Florida, and within less than an hour, a call to 911 was made. So that alerted me to the fact that they know something. There was something that made them on edge, I think, far beyond being a little bit late to a dental office. And now I think we're going to find out that maybe they knew information about concerns that she might have had.
Mm-hmm. Right, Jen, I'm with you. Mario, do you agree that was really odd? There was so much panic so early, and it seemed just questionable. It seemed just odd to many of us that at 9 a.m., there would be 911 calls wanting a welfare check at the house. Your thoughts now seeing the arrest of the ex-husband? Okay,
I want to clear this up. You guys, I cannot emphasize how intelligent these people are, and I cannot and how much common sense they have. If I'm an hour and a half away, by the time it would take me to get into a car and drive, I'm not going to get to that house for an hour and a half. These people called their friends who are mutual friends that they share with the Tepe family, right? Hey, we can't get a hold of them. Can you try calling? If not, can you go over there? By the time I would get there, it's going to be eczema. I can send Jeff there, but he's not going to get there for another hour. And I'm all the way out in Athens, and that's going to be an hour and a half. So who can we call that's around, up, and available to go over there. Something's up. Who has the neighbor's number? You know, things like that. And then you're sending people, and that's how all of the different people ended up coming, because multiple people were called. Like who? And then so when Cam makes that phone call to Mark calls a friend named Derek, and Derek's like, you know what? Alex Diddy's way closer than me even, so I'm going to call him. And so Alex arrives just after Jeff does, okay? And she sent him out there after, I think it was like, if I'm not mistaken, Logan's only like 30, 35 minutes away from us. And so if you're sending out your husband at like, I think Cam's was sending somebody from Logan, and that's like 30, 35 minutes, which times up perfectly with getting off the phone with the 911 people, and just like they don't call you back, you don't hear anything from them, and you talk to them at 9. Okay. Yeah, Jeff, just go and head there. Like, I have no idea what's going on. We're going to try to get other people to go over there sooner. That's what happened. And here, the cop went to the wrong house, not on the wrong street. I mean, not on the same street, but he even went to the wrong street. He went to the wrong house. But that's how all those people ended up there. And there's nothing strange about it. Absolutely not. It's absolutely 1000% normal. If you have good friends and people know you, like, yeah, that's called that's normal. And I would think that if people didn't do that, if they would have acted differently, I think that'd be worse. Oh, I got special just didn't come into work today. Continue on with our day. Wait, what? Think about if it was the opposite way and nobody from work called. Now, wouldn't you say that that's way more sus? If you care about somebody, you're going to do exactly what they did.
But does it make more sense to you?
So I agree with Jen. I think that we're going to find, that there's going to be a report that there was some information that there was something going on in the background here. One of the news outlets actually reported that Tepe's family knew immediately who was responsible for the death. I forget which news outlet it was, but I think in the coming days, there's going to be a lot of information that comes out. It seems, the news outlets are reporting that it was uncharacteristic for him to be late, but, being late and then coming, calling 911, calling somebody in Florida or his boss, and then actually driving to the house to do your own welfare check because you're not satisfied with the police response indicates to me that they had a heightened level of safety concern here. So in the coming days,
you guys, the only issue that they had is that when I don't think that they believe that the cops ever went there. Do you guys listen to those phone calls, right? Wouldn't you be like, what the heck is this dispatch talking about, man? Like, oh, well, maybe he's just sick. Like, some people just don't go to work. And then that's probably when he's thinking, did I not say that he was a dentist, And I think it was just like, all right, well, let's just head out. I mean, let's just go out there, okay? Fine. We're just going to go, all right? As soon as we get there, we're going to know, because Spencer either needs to be at work or he's at his house, or, I mean, where is he? And the same thing with the wife. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Like, this is, like I said, it's not a Walmart worker, and there's children involved. And I just, as detailed as Mark tried to be, he left out that he was a dentist. Okay. And he left out that there was, the children. So.
I really believe we're going to have a lot more information come out on the relationship that was going on in the background.
Yes, you said that so well, Mario, a heightened sense of safety concern for these two. Yes, exactly. Jen, I want to go back to you on how this guy was caught. Police say it was through his car, that a neighbor's Nest camera took some video of this man around the window of the homicides going to a car. Police tracked the plate to Illinois. The car belongs to Dr. Michael McKee, the defendant here. Your thoughts on that detective work?
Right. It was well done. We knew there was so much video in and around that area with all these residents there, and then also with the street camera footage. The issue was, of course, for law enforcement.
How did you know about all those cams? Come on, Jen. You know the truth. You're welcome.
is looking through all of that. It's hard to really put into words how tedious of work this is. It takes literally sitting in front of your camera and looking, or in front of your screen and looking at second after second for hours and hours a day. And we know there was a lot of footage. So that's a lot of officers that were involved. And I think that's why this took so long to solve.
Yeah.
Took so long.
Definitely.
Notice how she didn't give up any intel there. She's an ex-FBI. I don't know what she did with the FBI, but ex-FBI agent. And she doesn't talk about any of like the, like how this could have all played out. I went ahead and typed up how I think it all played out. Where is it? Here we go. If I'm going to do something like that, I'm going to have the residential cameras and then the commercial cameras, and we're going to have the addresses of every residence in that area within a 0.5 mile radius. And we're going to go in location order from the house, north, east, south, west, 4 teams. And I'm going to have the make and model of each, the number of the cameras that they have on each location, where the picture of the camera, location of the physical cameras, scope of the camera's view, owner, name, password, and a consent to search and seize the item. The same thing with the surveillance of the commercial property. And you're going to do a 0.5 mile radius and separate list for an additional 1.0 mile radius after that point to focus in on the north, southeast, west highway closest exit points to get out. Especially early on, if someone is saying in the family, like, this has to be her ex-husband, she was always afraid of him. She said this, if she ever was murdered, immediately go, it's him. So we have no idea what he's doing, where he's at. We never talked to him again after the divorce. Whatever they're relaying in any type of an interview, if that ever had happened. And then you mix that with license plate readers, which, from my understanding, you're able to. I want to know the legality, though. Okay. You have to stay within a certain, I believe if you're going to try to do a digital dragnet, you have a 2-hour frame, like an hour, like 2-hour window. If you're trying to get stuff that's outside of that, that is potentially going to breach the 4th Amendment. Okay. So there's, I just have a ton of questions about that. And in and of itself, as far as, okay, if we're using the LPR readers, I went ahead and found out where all of those were located. And here, I'll share that with you. So on their street and in the immediate area, this is what we're looking at. You're looking at the LPR map here. And this is right here is the corner of 8th and 4th, the second house here, the block right here. On the left, that's their house. And so where you saw those 360 cameras, one of them was actually a license plate reader. Okay. Well, this is a one-way. And so if a car's traveling on 4th, and that's going to be traveling north, then if you back out just a little bit here, you can see that you have East 11th Ave faces heading east and west. And Summit here, remember I told you guys how you were going to have this block because it's one way each way, and Summit's covering basically the same area that 4th is, just the opposite way for travel. And so you're going to be able to handle that back alley, because if you're going to get out from that back alley in any way that you think that you parked, which I was saying you can, if you're going to do that, you're going to get caught. But I want you to take a look here. And I said, if you were to park outside of this radius, they said they went all the way to Grant Ave, which is over here. That's Grant Ave. And then they went as far as to go where Summit was, just a little bit in Indianola Avenue. But take a look at this. When you travel down and you're heading more south, you come to this area. Okay, there are no license plate readers heading and traveling south on Summit. And that's going to take you to the freeway. This is 4th Street, takes you, north. Summit over here is going to bring you south. And look at how there's no license plate readers in this area. And this is current right now. So hopefully that map shows you and is a nice little indication of like how, so you're going to mix your license plate readers, right? You have obviously people have, not only do they have ring cameras, but they also have just surveillance cameras, period. Like I call that house to the right, Fort Knox, the White House. And they have like so many cameras outside, right? But reading the probable cause statement here, and I've never seen something so short, but if you think about it, it's easy to get probable cause with the nexus of him being the ex-husband and that he's supposed to be in Chicago, right? That's where he lives. But his vehicle is caught on license plate readers. And let me read this again. So it says Columbus Police Homicide Unit Team 2 was advised, responded, and initiated an investigation. During the subsequent investigation, detectives were able to identify a suspect through neighborhood video surveillance. So when you, I'm going to make this bigger for you guys, using this map. See, this is the Wheelan Park area. So for right now, don't consider the license plate readers, okay? But what they said is they used the area surveillance cameras of whether it was neighborhood video surveillance, whether they used the safety cams from the police, but they were able to identify a suspect. And then this suspect was then tracked to a vehicle. So they were able to pass off somebody that's like walking, okay? And if you have to pass them off to a different cam, that's why you want to go out and originally do what I said about 5 minutes ago, which is, hey, we want to get all the addresses that have cameras on them in any way, shape, or form. We need to first of all see if they work, okay? And then we're going to make a map that's showing, and I'd put 4 teams together, a team that's, you know, north, east, south, west, and you're going to sit in a room and you're going to get in like, you know, like a cubicle almost, but have everybody's in a position of north, south, east, west, and you're going to be passing off the camera footage based on putting it in order of addresses on which way a subject would be walking so that you can find out where they end up going or where they originate. And yes, it will take a ton of time unless you are organized on how to man your command center. And here, they traced back a person on foot from the area, and they traced it to a car, a vehicle. And then, but this is the thing that they couldn't get from the, I personally believe that the vehicle that the person got into, there was no way from the residential camera that you could see a license plate, but you could make an outline of it like, hey, dude, that looks like it's a Hyundai Elantra or like a Toyota Camry. It's got that body shape. It could be like one of 5 of these types of cars, or, you know, so pick a make and model that has something similar. And then what you are able to do with these license plate readers, from my understanding, is that you can go into the database and give a description of a make and model, okay, and into the database in a certain period of time, which is a 2-hour window. So if I said, say that the vehicle the person walked back to and got in, and it looks like a Toyota Camry, we're putting that in. Then what it's going to do is it's going to generate and spit out to you during from 2 to 4 a.m. or 3 to 5 a.m. These license plate readers came back with the make and model of that vehicle car, and then here's the different license plates that were attached to the make and model of your interest. And then you would see, let's say there was 5 of them, okay, which would be a lot at that time, right? So let's just say there's 2 of them. Come back, the license plate says whatever it does, and it says next to it, you're going to put that through leads, and it says that car belongs to a Michael D. McKee. And what if it said, oh, that plate, that's a Las Vegas plate. That's a Nevada plate. And then, well, who's Michael D. McKee? Oh, that's funny. The family was just talking about that Monique used to be married to a guy named Michael D. McKee. Okay. Based on how this is written, this is why I believe that it happened this way. And when I had put out that it could have been a rental vehicle, it's because of how this PCA was worded. And it says this suspect was tracked to a vehicle. And then I said, a vehicle, because they didn't, the person that got in that car, they weren't able to give an identification of the car because they couldn't see the license plate. Okay. But they were able to say the make and model of what it appeared to be or very close to, and then maybe even take a couple different make and models that were similar. But it says this suspect was traced to a vehicle which arrived just prior to the homicides and left shortly after the homicides. Detectives were able to identify this vehicle further. That means that's all they had right at that point. They were able to identify it further and link it to Michael McKee. And I said, well, how would you do that? Well, just as how I just described it. If you were to enter a make and model of a vehicle that you happen to see on a camera, but you weren't able to get the license plate from the residential view, you couldn't make out the license plate, but you could definitely make out, dude, that's a Hyundai Elantra, man. Or that's a Bronco. Or that's a Tahoe. All black everything. Okay. I know they're able to put vehicles in the FBI tools that they have. Well, I don't even know if you have to use the FBI here. You have tools that will help identify a car by different specs. At the end of the day, when they say in this 2-sentence phrase to say, detectives were able to identify this vehicle further and link it to Michael McKee. How did they link it? Well, detectives located the vehicle in Rockford, Illinois, and found evidence of Michael McKee in possession of the vehicle prior to and after the homicides. And I said the only way that you would be able to do this is if you linked it by putting the make and model of the vehicle in the license plate readers that were scanning this 0.5 mile radius or 2 mile radius, whatever they went with, because they're going to probably make it really specific. And then it kicked back, and then once they got that, they put it into the national LPRs and said, what are any hits that are before and after the homicide? And I think it then had a paper trail of hitting LPRs, coming and then going. That's what I think. Again, I've never seen, because this is all they needed to get probable cause for the arrest and charge him with 2 homicides. Because it says they traced it all the way back straight to Rockford and found evidence of McKee in possession of the vehicle prior to and after the homicides. That would mean that I believe that they got a search warrant for then the vehicle. And let's say that he bought, I don't know, food somewhere. You know how long of a drive that is and how long the drive back is? You need gas, people. You cannot make it from Rockford to here and then leave from here to go to Rockford and not put gas in that car. I said, unless he planned this all the way out to the fact of that he would have gas cans in his vehicle and pull off the side of the road to then fill up his gas with his cans that he already got. It's when you're talking about a surgeon who's going to plan something, I would plan that he would do that. I would think that he would do something like that. But guess what you got to do? You got to eat, don't you? Maybe he paid cash, but somebody gave him a receipt. And that receipt from Chick-fil-A was, but something that was in that car linked him to being able to be, that he would have been in it when they're saying prior to and after the homicides. I think that's a really key thing. With I'm curious what was in that car when they took possession of it. Anyways, just wanted to share that and share how these license plate readers work. But I thought it was interesting when I was looking where these license plate readers were and were not in the Columbus area. It's very interesting for me personally, as like I was doing research. If it was a crime of passion, then that tells me that they were talking, okay, prior to.
And how about the fact that I think it's still hard to wrap your mind around. So this is a vascular surgeon we have as a defendant here. And if he is the monster that, police are saying he is, they're saying that he's the guy that did these homicides. If he is, how stunning is that he's saving lives day after day, and then police say he ended 2 lives. Mario, I want you to weigh in on that if you would, please.
So I find it very interesting that in their relationship, we don't have any evidence that there were ever any domestic incident reports that were filed. We haven't heard anything that there was trouble in their marriage other than it ended quite quickly. I think it was less than 2 years they were married. So it seems a little unbelievable that out of nowhere. But Jen said in the last segment that this could have been something that was festering for years and years and years. And now, they're coming up on their 5th year anniversary. They have 2 children. It looks like they have a wonderful life. And, the jealousy just overwhelmed him and caused him to do this. I mean, he didn't, he took the time to do it in the middle of the night. He traveled, 500 miles, but he didn't think to, get a car that wasn't associated with him. So
that's what I'm saying, you guys. That is absolutely wild right there. Wild.
we wasn't really thinking that logically if he, committed this crime and thought it out, but didn't think enough not to use his own vehicle. So I really believe that this was just a festering rage that was going on inside of him. If he can't have her, then nobody else will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly, Mary. I think so too. That's really not going to make sense of it, that it was building and building.
Nobody has talked about the children yet. Why were the children spared?
And for whatever reason, now was a time, if he's the guy. Jen, I want to talk to you about the ballistics evidence. So we know 3 spent 9mm shell casings recovered at the scene, no firearm.
Yes, well, the news reports that I have right now, guys, as far as the cameras in the courtroom for this, is that there is no live play, but they are allowing a camera in the courtroom, and that it has to be played, though it can't be played live. So it's recording, and then we're going to be able to use the camera once it's over, and then whatever it did record while it was live, we can play not live. Does that make sense? That's what we have. Okay, let's see something here. In the court documents we're trying to dig here, there's potentially, we're looking into this whole thought about a malpractice lawsuit. So we're looking into that. Again, all the doctors, though, that were listed, and it was from the Las Vegas Surgical Association. I showed you guys that yesterday, that address on the timeline. That's actually the Las Vegas Surgical Associates LLP is the building that he was in. So I'll look more into that. If there was a malpractice suit, I mean,
left at the scene. We haven't heard. I've been waiting. I keep searching. I was searching all day to see if investigators said anything about recovering a gun. Your thoughts, if they don't, let's just say they can't find a murder weapon or any firearms belonging to this doctor. Is that at all detrimental to the case?
Well, a couple of things. When they said they found the vehicle, they also said they found evidence. And when I heard that, immediately I thought, did they find the gun? They didn't say that, as you said, Julie. They didn't say what the evidence was. But I wonder if there was any mapping, that he had printed anything out, or that gun. If they don't find the gun, of course, they can track possibly a gun to him. Look, these were precise.
So now we think he shot her with the gun that was registered to him? Wow. I mean, by God. We also went back and checked. Bella was doing a really good job yesterday to tracking down the license plate readers in, as well as cameras in and around his building where he lived in by Lincoln Park. Okay. And his actually a penthouse suite that he lives in over there, and where it's located, it's got some blind spots. I'm not going to lie. It's definitely got some blind spots. But it's fancy enough that I'm so curious if they keep logs of him coming and going. And remember, the car traced back to Rockford. Okay, it was like a digital footprint to go straight back to Rockford, not to Chicago, into where his his condo penthouse is. And again, anything that you would be going to like a hospital, they got so many cameras. I think the only thing that has more cameras than a police station or hospitals is a casino.
Ice shots, one to the chest on her and 2 other shots to him that were all kill shots. So when you look at that, did he practice at any ranges? What was he doing to prepare? Were there other guns he purchased? So I think they could track that aspect of the gun.
Right. If he purchased a firearm. Yes, exactly. And if it was one that holds 9mm ammunition. Jen, great points. Mario, great points. We'll leave it here for just a moment. We're going to continue discussing this case throughout the day.
Yeah, 1000%. The changes of him with his it's premeditated. So in Ohio there is a death penalty, and I guess if there's a case that would require that, if you were like, hey, is this a death penalty case? You know, I thought the Idaho 4 murders. Like, I'm over here the type that, hey, life in prison without the possibility of parole to me is worse than the death penalty. To have them have to live, like, come on. But Ohio is a state that the death penalty is available. But if there's ever a case, I think the Idaho 4 case would be one. The death penalty would be, if there's ever a case that you're going to use the death penalty, and then something like this. I'm sorry, anybody going up in someone's home while they're sleeping and premeditating and planning to try to get away with like this perfect murder, these are the type of cases that are like that's where it would be like the death penalty. But a lot comes with the death penalty, though. Drags out a lot longer. A lot more of appeals, and so it's just like. Also, I don't like when people use the death penalty as a way to get somebody to take a plea deal. Okay, I think that's absolutely horrible. All right. So I have my opinions about that, but hey. Again, nobody has answered how he got into that home. I think that's going to be really, really important. Right now, I think there's too much. I think that he would have needed help in order to make that happen. Whether he got it that night, whether he got it in advance. But I still believe even if he had the code, you're still going to get alerted. That's the type, it's still going to ding. It's still going to chime. And how she would have set up, how they would have set up that house. You also have to think about your children's, you have little kids and you're on a busy road there. You want to make sure that your kid's not able to go get out, and you want every possible like ding possible to let you know something. Oh, cool. Thank you so much. So it wouldn't just be even like the thought about him. It's the thought of I want all, as a parent, I want every extra way that I could possibly be doing something and look the other way for a second. But thank God I heard my front door open, and I looked, and my little one's about to try to go out the door. So, so I just believe that they would have had that house up like Fort Knox with that. Like I said, for multiple reasons, and not just the Mike aspect of being afraid like that he's going to come and stalk you. And woohoo! Still interested in Idaho 4 and other cases for the goal. Yeah. Don't you have a code blue in your country? In my house, we have a sign outside that says code blue available, which means that police, fire, and medics can get into the house in an emergency. There's always exigent circumstances you can just go in. Jennifer was cleaning agent at FBI. Remember, for 6 months, September, Virgo. Already been 6 months. Look at it flying by. Look at Karen, $999.99, $99.99. Look at that czar just popping up. South Africans. Thank you, Karen. You rock. Thank you, guys. A lot of smart people in chat. I see a lot of thinkers. Love it. All right. Next up is I want you guys to hear from this defense attorney. Okay, because now the big thing is who is going to represent this man? And everybody is innocent until proven guilty. So let's take a look at this. How would I look at my history again? Yeah, I'm asking you that. I want to be able to pop that up here. Hold on 1 second.
Has not been retained by Mike.
We haven't heard anything about DNA or fingerprints, gunshot residue, anything placing him inside the residence at the time of the killings.
Defense attorney Brad Koffel discussing a lot of the unknowns in the Tepe murder case with me. He has not been retained by Michael McKee, the ex-husband of Monique Tepe, now locked up in a Winnebago County jail, accused of killing her and her husband.
Countless bad bumble dates, wrong relationships, and waterfalls of tears.
Our newsroom obtained the divorce file between Monique and Michael McKee. It states she was granted the divorce on grounds the parties were incompatible.
There's a prior relationship and divorce history and some disputes, but those are not elements of murder.
In fact, Columbus police have not yet released a motive, posting on social media as to not compromise the active and ongoing investigation.
It's a big jump from a doctor in Illinois, surgeon in Illinois, driving across state lines like this to commit double murder and then drive back.
Columbus police releasing this surveillance video Monday, showing a person in a dark hoodie walking through the alley near the Tepe home between 2 and 5 a.m. The court documents we obtained show the time of the killings as 3:52 a.m. However, CPD has not confirmed if McKee is the person in this video. These court documents read the suspect was traced through a car that arrived just before and left just after the murders. That car linked to McKee. Detectives found it in Rockford, Illinois, and say it was in his possession both before and after their deaths.
Did he confess? Are there any eyewitnesses?
Koffel reminding.
Okay. That is not actually the correct language. Okay. Detectives were able to identify this vehicle further and link it to Michael McKee. Detectives located the vehicle in Rockford, Illinois, and found evidence of McKee in possession of the vehicle prior to and after the homicides. The suspect was tracked to a vehicle which arrived just prior to the homicides and left shortly after the homicides. But then they were able to link him to that vehicle So it's interesting. Are they claiming that he gave somebody his vehicle to go commit the crimes?
The state has to prove McKee is
Why would you ever have your car anywhere near there?
guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
And then forensic extraction of the cell phone devices. What type of communication was going on with the ex-wife and the suspect?
Okay. See, so this guy, this defense attorney believes, like how I would be thinking too, is that I want to see what type of communication they had leading up to the murders. Because if you're going to sit here and tell me that they haven't talked since 2017, that's a, like, if that's the case, that's going to help the defendant. Or if they did talk, okay, if they did talk, and they had been hooking up, and he's like, well, we had been hooking up, and so I was waiting for him to leave, but he didn't leave, so I left then because we were going to be hooking up. I mean, I'm just throwing out the type of ways that, but if it ever came out that he was specifically asked, where were you on December 30th? And he told people that he was in Chicago, okay, then he's not going to be able to come back and be like, okay, well, like, let me tell you, I just didn't want to tell you guys that we had been hooking up, but blah, 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 you know? So it's just interesting to hear it when you hear it from a defense standpoint. It's like, he's like, everyone pump the brakes.
We haven't heard anything about DNA or fingerprints, gunshot residue, anything placing him inside the residence at the time of the killings.
Defense attorney Brad Koffel discussing a lot of the unknowns in the Tepe murder case with me. He has not been retained by Michael McKee, the ex-husband of Monique Tepe, now locked up in a Winnebago County jail, accused of killing her and her husband.
Countless bad bumble dates, wrong relationships, and waterfalls of tears.
So right there,
obtained the divorce file between Monique and Michael. The parties were posting on social media as to not compromise the active and ongoing investigation.
That part of the, you guys remember that part of the wedding video? That part of the wedding video saying that wrong relationship. Let's get it right. Let's get the exact quote there.
Bad bumble dates, wrong relationships, and waterfalls of tears.
Wrong relationships, waterfalls of tears.
Prove McKee is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
And then forensic extraction of the cell phone devices. What type of communication was going on with the ex-wife and the suspect?
When you have a high-profile case such as this, does that pose any problems or challenges for the prosecutor's office or these coordinating agencies as they look to bring him back to Ohio?
There's a lot that the public and the prosecutors, and especially the investigators, are going to need to tighten up any unexplained gaps, and then the forensic scene. So I think it's a good exercise for everyone just to pump the brakes here a little bit.
That's where he said it. Pump the brakes. Interesting, huh?
ABC 6 News at noon on your side starts now.
In just a couple of hours, the man accused of killing a Columbus couple will appear in court in Illinois. That's where Michael McKee.
Now we're going to talk about bail. I believe that they up these the charges for the purpose of the bail proceeding. Okay, that's why I believe that these charges have changed. I think that has everything to do with the future bail proceeding. So again, we're waiting for. Right now is when it should have kicked off in the courtroom. And they're not allowed to show it live streaming. So after it's done and not live streamed, it can be shown. Again, remember, Chicago's behind Ohio by an hour. So it's 2:30 here. So it's 1:30 there, and that's when they said it was going to begin. And what a source has told me, I'm not able to 1,000% confirm this, but I'm fine with saying it, is that they had cops outside in Rockford at his place of employment. And then when he left and drove in the car and then he went to Chick-fil-A, he was approached there at Chick-fil-A. And everything was handled there at Chick-fil-A to like take him into custody. So I'm curious, did he get to even order any Chick-fil-A? Because that would have been his last, meal outside of the county jail.
He was arrested over the weekend. Now he's charged with killing his ex-wife, Monique Tepe, and her husband, Spencer. Steve Levine joining us live right now from Rockford, Illinois, with new information in the case. Steve?
Terry, 39-year-old Michael McKee expected to go before a judge here in Rockford, Illinois later this afternoon to determine if he can be returned to Ohio. Now, we do have new information. Murder charges against McKee were upgraded less than 24 hours ago to include premeditated aggravated murder, which could possibly include the death penalty. McKee is accused of shooting to death his ex-wife, Monique Tepe, and her husband, Spencer Tepe, December 30th in their Wyland Park home, while the two young kids slept a few feet away. The children were unharmed. McKee was
They were not a few feet away. They were in their separate bedrooms. I mean, I think that's misleading.
Arrested in Rockford on Saturday, where he works as a vascular surgeon at a practice in town. He was living in a luxury Chicago apartment in Lincoln Park. Neighbors there shocked after hearing about the arrest.
I sat down with this man.
How about this woman, man? Jera, what's up, girl? Let's talk. Jera's like, I was upstairs barbecuing with them. I was hanging out with them. We were laying out by the pool. Listen.
And talked to them at the pool, barbecuing. It's kind of shocking. How do you
They
explain?
have 3 girls up on the rooftop. She's barbecuing with them up on the pool rooftop.
To a child that mom and dad are here one day and gone the next. Those are the real victims of this whole case here. They are the children.
No, Columbus police say they identified a car owned by McKee not far from the Tepe's home around the time of the murder and then tracked the vehicle to Illinois. They have not released a motive in this case.
Again, that's not how they said it, but that's not how the probable cause said it. So right there, see that do not cross, that the yellow tape there. This is a good shot of how it was roped off that day. And it was a false alarm with the whole calling and saying the tape in the garage door and all that crap. Yeah.
As of yet. Now, Columbus police have been here in Rockford since Saturday working on this case. And if McKee is able to be extradited to Ohio, they will return him and take him to the Franklin County Jail.
Now the question is how are they going to extradite him? Are they flying him here? Or are they driving him here? We are going to be there. We are staking out. We are going to do and be there for the perp walk. I'm just curious, are you flying him here or are you driving him here?
We are live in Rockford, Illinois. I'm Steve Levine, ABC 6 News.
McKee and Monique Tepe were married for a little less than 2 years before they divorced in June of 2017. Court documents we obtained indicated that the divorce was amicable. McKee was a resident at Roanoke Hospital in Virginia when they divorced. He then had a vascular surgery fellowship at the University of Maryland before moving on and working in medicine in Las Vegas, California, and now Rockford, Illinois.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's correct. Jera is a true crime writer. Stop. If she is, that's wow. I wonder if she ever told him that. That's true. All right. So what do you guys think? Again, we are just waiting, stand by here to see when they can put out his first appearance. They are allowing video inside the courtroom, but it could not just be played live. And so I think I have it. Here we go. WBNS. I think they're about to go with it. Again, this shouldn't have been a long hearing. Ex-husband charged. I see they had it set up so that I think they have a camera there. I know that Court TV had something ready too. I'm curious who got the camera inside the courtroom though. Like, which was it from? A station down there? I'm sure there are locals are working with our locals here in Columbus to share the footage of like the same, like, you know, let's see if it's WBNS, CBS. She's a true crime writer. That's wild. She is. Curious if they're going to drive him or fly him. Lana, I'd like to see you do your best crop walk while he is doing his perp walk. What? What? This is Tina with What the Fuck Translation Services. What the fuck does that mean? Oh, God. He moved around a lot. Well, that's what they normally have to do in the beginning. Somebody close in the family, in my family, is a surgeon, and he graduated from Michigan. Anyways, you know, it's a process. It's a process. So you're going to go through that whole process to then say, okay, I did all of this. Okay, I'm accomplished. I finished, you know, I got it all. I did it all. Like, I finished everything. And now, okay. All right, now it's time to do this. I mean, I don't know. I just want to ask one question. I have my question ready. The crip walk, is that what she said? I was like, what's the crop walk? I know what the crip walk is. Thank you. I have my question ready and loaded. And I'm going to get my question in. It's a house divided. Yeah. I think he's a cheap ass, by the way. I told you guys in my timeline that I put out yesterday. I think he's a complex with money. But he got that penthouse, whatever he wants to call it, but it's whatever it originally was made and how it was made. There's 0 upgrades. It's got that weird ass carpeting in it. You guys know what I'm talking about. Looks like could be like a daycare carpeting. And you just look at can imagine walking in there every single day. 2 bedroom. Yep, you're really planning for a family, aren't you? 2 bedroom. He wanted a family. He wanted to have like 9 kids. That's what he told friends. Well, like, he said that in front of friends, and then in quotes, Monique was like, excuse me, but I'm the one that would have to have those 9 kids. Like, no. So again, we're not allowed to play the video live from inside the courtroom, but they are allowing court to be filmed. And WBNS 10 TV, I believe that's CBS. I believe that they're working with their partners over in the Chicago area. So right here is where this is a live stream that's being run right now. And that's why I had this up. And so as soon as this pops up, they'll be streaming live. So see how it says waiting for WBNS 10 TV? This is a live broadcast that they're going to be filming. And so as soon as it pops up, we'll be able to be live with the hearing, but not live. But for us, it'll be live because we've never seen it before. Ooh. Thank you guys for being here. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up or the thumbs down. make yourself known. Use the comment section to talk with others, and use the comment section of the video if you catch this on replay, because I always revisit the comment section. I try to ask or answer any questions I can if I know them. And if you have, after I read a comment, I always heart the comment because that lets you know that I read it. But we let all comments stand as long as they're not absolutely crazy with attacking somebody. But all opinions are always welcome here. And when you're speculating as to what could be going on, yep, I always say IMO and then just write it. So yeah, definitely use the comment section. I have to go back and look and engage with people that can't catch it live, but come here to view the video and get the information. So, well, some people would argue about that with this case being that, but maybe the Idaho 4 case is where I broke out all the body worn camera of the student's house when the cops went there for those noise complaints. Yeah, that was us over here at Truth and Transparency. And that case is just wild. That case is anything but what it seems. Let's see, we got... I got to call Geraldine. What a name. Geraldine, let's see. Geraldine is an American journalist, playwright, and best-selling author of true crime books. Holy shit, shut up. She is. We're totally going to call her. Okay. I know I don't want to say that. We're live, yeah. So we're about to watch it here live, but he has made his decision. I'm not trying to we'll watch it. We'll see it all live together. TNT is the freaking map. That's right. Hi, Lana, watching from LA. Yeah. You guys would be surprised. I have 20% of my viewership that is outside the United States. I got a ton of people that watch from Europe, and I have a ton of people that watch from Canada. So let me know where you're from. Put it in the comment section right now. Let's see where you guys are from. But I have a ton of people because of this case right here, baby. OHIO. I'm a huge born and raised in Cleveland. Took my talents to Cincinnati. Bearcat, baby. Played 2 sports over there, golf and basketball, and then wound up here in the middle of the state, the Buckeye State here in the middle in Columbus. Been here for a while now. When was it? 2012? What is it now? 2026? Woo! But I still get carded when I go out, so take that. Take that. We got some Michigan people, some Texas people. Oh, Athens, okay. Oh, Rockford, okay. Well, Hannah, you look tired. Get some rest. We've been nonstop with this. Georgia. How about Indiana? Going for a national title. What's up with that? Go Hoosiers, man. You got to give it up. I love when I see people that see teams that it's their time. Let them win. I should say let them win, but I hope they win. Oh, some Hawkeyes in here. We have a house divided, so we're half Michigan, half Ohio State. True story, growing up, my neighbor was Elvis Gerbach. He played and was a quarterback at Michigan. I played basketball with his sister, and I was a Michigan fan for 4 years because of him. And now I have to watch my nephew, who's a Michigan fan every year. And now somehow my son became a Michigan fan. I'm like, what is going on? Like, I had a reason. I was rooting on my neighbor, man. Those were the good days. Desmond Howard, How about I think Kirk Hershey's son? He's a Wolverine. I'm like, Kirk, how do you let your son go to Ann Arbor? I see some. Oh, South Africa. There it is. This person's like, I live about 1 minute or mile from McKee. Oh, damn. Okay. Tennessee. I got a lot of Boston people too from the Karen Reed case. We love it up there. Pittsburgh. Okay. You guys have gone 22 straight seasons above 500. The Steelers. Talk about just, you know how difficult that is? That is absolutely amazing. 22 straight seasons to be 500 or better. So give it up for the Steelers. Pains me to say that. Louisiana. Oh gosh. Look out, William. Oklahoma. I mean, Massachusetts. What town do we not have yet? Maryland. 676. Go Bills. A huge Jim Kelly fan. So you definitely have me rooting for you. When the Bills aren't playing the Browns all day. I'm a huge Jim Kelly, Andre Reed, Thurman Thomas. That squad back in the day. They were my faves. I love Jim Kelly. Dublin, Ohio. Yes. New Mexico. Okay. Mark B. SoCo. I think, yes. Yeah. I mean, we're all over. I love it. I love it. Oh, Hilliard. Hell yeah. Neighbor. Anybody here from Cincinnati? Got some Cincinnati people? Oh, look at that. Yeah, we're all over. Did he have representation? Was he there with a lawyer? I was told that we get the okay to play this at 3:00. So we have 10 minutes. That's what I was told, is that this can be played at 3. For what it's worth. Question, update on a case of a young man you're working on with for new trial. He was, wait, what was that? Yeah, question, update on case of young. Yeah, we're still waiting. So that's the Sheldon Jeter Jr. case. And I work with the family of Sheldon Jeter Jr. Been helping them since 2021. He was wrongfully convicted. And he just had a hearing not too long ago for like basically juror misconduct, basically. They put a juror that should have never been on the case, but don't know how she slipped through the cracks. But she was the neighbor of one of the victims from a different case where Sheldon was a person of interest. Anyways, during the deliberations, she talked with her father and her uncle about the case and prayed on it. And then the next day came to, court with her verdict. So you cannot bring God is not the 13th juror. Nobody is the 13th juror. And you're not even allowed to have God as the 13th juror. And I happened to be walking to go talk to Rachel Del Tondo's parents, who's the victim of a different case. I love her parents. And anytime I'm in town, I try to stop by and say hi. And she, sure as shit, I'm getting out. And here I see this car pull up, park, and this girl walks out. And I'm like, oh my God. Holy shit, that's one of the jurors. And I'm like, and she just walks right into the house. It's right next to where I'm going. And I was like, wait, this can't, it must be my eyes, right? Nope. It was not. And so, yeah, it's just wild. Anyways, we're still waiting to hear back. We were supposed to have some news if he was getting that new trial before Christmas. It should be any day. One way or another, he's going to get a new trial, whether it's that, because there's just so much wrong with the case. He will definitely get it on ineffective assistance of counsel, 1,000%, like no doubt about it. So, but that case is Sheldon Jeter Jr. It's out of Aliquippa, Pennsylvania, Beaver County. It was a 2020 murder case. And it stemmed from actually a 2018 case. And there was a teacher that was gunned down on Mother's Day in her driveway. It was May of 2020 or 2018. It's still unsolved to this day. It should not be. And 2 years later, then in 2020, I believe that I provided enough evidence to show that Sheldon Jeter Jr. was framed for the 2020 murder of Tyreek Pugh for the purpose of being able to then label him a murderer so that he could then be charged for Rachel's then murder in 2018. The corruption is just astonishing. So if you want to follow a case, there's a case for you. Michigan here. There you go. My son, lives at the Banks. Okay. All that stuff was just upcoming when I was there. Everybody's reaping the benefits of Cincinnati because when I was there, UC stood for under construction. I swear that place is, I loved it though, every part of it. I think some of it's too commercialized. I just love it made me feel like I was still in Cleveland. So great town. But yeah, the Banks wasn't happening yet. Florida, 5-minute warning. I would love for the Hoosiers to win it all. Talk about a year to win the Heisman and to win a national championship. Bearcat Nation. There you go. UC has one of the best criminal justice programs in the country. Criminology programs, criminal justice. They also have a phenomenal, a lot of my roommates, one of them went to the DAP program, design, architectural planning and projects and then another one was, she's in the CSI, but she's over in North Carolina now. She's like running a forensic lab. I'm a pharmacist, a psychologist, and then I went and bought a bar. I should try to get one of my roommates to come on and talk about her crime lab. She's a brain, man. Is your name Italian? Yes, it is. My dad was born in Italy. But I'm 50-50. Half Italian, half Irish. Criminal justice. Criminal justice, minor business. A lot of Wolverines in here. Nice. Interesting. Nice. I think the exact time of 3:52 was because of shots heard on Ring camera. That could potentially be. Also, I'm almost thinking that could have been a silencer and that it jammed after a couple shots. They tend to do that because of where Monique was only shot, if it's standing, that she only was not shot once, and it was like through the side. But I just have a feeling that was Okay. Rumor on the street is that he had a female attorney there representing him. Again, we're just waiting. 3-minute warning here. This is supposed to be able to go live here at 3. Let's see. God. Geraldine, man, we have to talk. She was on Maury Povich, Phil Donahue, 48 Hours, Inside Edition. She is a Chicago-based video production company that assists attorneys in personal injury and workers' compensation cases. She is a paid actress. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. Is it on? Geraldine. What a name. Oh, there he is. They said no phones in there. Who got this pic? Here, send me that. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. We got a picture of him inside. Probably going to be something that we shouldn't have, but we got it. Lana, how long after being born in Italy did you live there? What? Wait, that's not what I said. No. I said my father was born in Italy. Okay. Somebody asked if my last name was Italian. Oh, that's hilarious. Yo, 10 years now, guys. I was born here. My dad was born in Italy. That was hilarious. All right, he is in an orangish jumpsuit. Orangish is what yellowish, orangish looks like. And let's see. I don't know what he's doing. Rumor has, like I said, there was a female there with him. And rumor has it that he waived extradition. It's not a rumor, but he did. He waived extradition. Okay. So, but I want to hear it myself, damn it. It's interesting. That means he's going to be transported. And now I want to know, is he coming by plane or is he coming by vehicle? And we're going to have everything covered. Whether if he comes in by plane, we have it, or if he comes in on, by vehicle, we have it. We really want to see if he is pigeon-toed. Okay, we're really going to be looking at his pigeon-toe walk. Okay, they say it's 3:00. Are they going to play it? Is Court TV going to play it? Here we go. This is your boy. Oopsies. Oh, hold on one second. What the hell are you guys doing on there, WBNS? Come on now. I'm trying to give you guys some local love. Oh, Baldwin Wallace. Yeah, I know about Baldwin Wallace. Berea. I think there's a chance that he's going to get bail. I'm hoping that it's not, but in Ohio, liberal. Oh, this video is not available. What have you guys done? You guys deleted your own video? What are they doing over there? See? This is why I went down to the short north and said, guys, I'm going to break this news right here, right now. Look at this. Look at this. Unbelievable.
And the murder of her husband, Dr. Spencer Teppy. We're on the ground in Ohio, where defendant Michael McKee is expected in court. Plus an arrest, but no clear answers. So what did Spencer Teppy's colleagues know? The looming questions that remain in the investigation. Plus, the cheating fire chief murder trial resumes today. Friends of the former battalion chief explaining to the jury why he didn't want a divorce. And a victim of a conspiracy? What? That is what defendant Nick Reiner is reportedly thinking behind bars. We'll talk about it. It's all coming up next for you right here on Opening Statements. Good Monday morning to you and welcome to Opening Statements. I'm Julie Grant. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I missed you over the weekend. We put together a great show for you, so let's get it started as we always do. Grab that cup of coffee. It's time for my opening statement. Why? And why now? If Monique Tepe's ex-husband murdered her and her current husband, Dr. Spencer Tepe, why did he do it? Dr. Spencer and Monique Tepe just celebrated their 5th wedding anniversary. They got married in the house in which they lived with their 2 small children and their dog. Monique and her ex-husband.
They might not be.
And they've been divorced since 20.
What is WB and what are they doing? How do you just blow it so bad? God, I tried, you know. Is it WBNX? Is that, yeah. Is it, they had it, and then then they just decided I'm not going to show it. What have they been doing over there? Do they not have a producer? If I had known this was going to be such a cluster, we would have done this ourselves. We, just needed one job. One job. Yeah, it's not. They got. Come on. Oh, you got to be kidding me. They must have been getting harassed in the live comment section. You guys had one job. Oh, God. Okay, well. Let's see what we got here.
What reluctance did Kevin West?
She's showing all the different. So she's wait. See how it says 8:03 a.m. She's going through stuff. Everybody's taken down their live feeds. I wonder what's going on. You know what? Check a Rockford station. I mean, just ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Oh, sorry guys. I'm just not pleased with the just one job, man. We're waiting like you guys. The video is not out yet of the hearing. And so, but from what we have here, we have he waived his extradition and he is coming back to Columbus. I want to get this next court date. And they're saying a week that he'll be then in front of the judge here in Columbus. We've been trying to pay attention to see if anybody's been making moves with who he's going to have represent him. And here he is. Yeah, we made a list of people that in Columbus, depending on if he's going. So, again, here he is walking in. Again, like I said, this is, I don't even know what color jump you want to say this is, but I'm going to go with orangish. It looks like it's Tennessee orange, It's Tennessee orange he's in. Maybe a little dirty. It's not as bright as Tennessee's orange, but it's a mustard. There's no. So, anyways, it looks like, again, we have all the exit points and entry points covered for the extradition. But we thought that they'd be able to handle this portion of it. So let's hope that we get the video here in a second. There is Michael D. McKee being brought in to that. It was Winnebago. I mean, of all places, Winnebago. What a What a county name. Winnebago. He has a very small mouth. Sorry, it's just an observation. I'm telling you, I do not like. There's no way the video that was put out is him. I'm telling you, there's just no way. But I want to see how he walks. That's all we're trying to get. Is we're trying to get all the angles for his walk. If I was in that courtroom, that's all I would have been paying attention to. Is his walk. No lips, McKee. You know what I mean? Like that's first thing I noticed. But hey, again, everybody is innocent until proven guilty. And if there's a channel out there that really hardcore defends the defendants in their pursuit, I think everybody deserves their day in court. I'm not a fan of plea deals. If you're new to my channel, I'm not a fan of plea deals. I'm not a fan of using the death penalty to obtain a plea deal. I'm a fan of exactly what the channel says: truth and transparency. Like, be transparent and be truthful. You don't need to be gaslighting Americans and even people that aren't American who are watching. But everybody gets their day in court. You're innocent until proven guilty, and I don't believe that you should be violating anybody's rights, because if you violate one person, you violate all of us with our rights. So that's what it boils down to. But we were on to Michael D. McKee day 2, and people thought we were crazy, and we're not. And we're definitely not. We brought the receipts, and he was arrested. I'm going to be so interested to see. So I was talking with my sister about it, and she's always like, I'm always the one that's like defending the opposition side. And I was like, I'm telling you, I think he's watched that wedding video, and I think he made a mistake and maybe he didn't use a VPN the one time. And she's over here like, so if he watched it, who cares? Like, it's not, and I'm like, yeah, see, now you're thinking like how I would be thinking. Like, that is not enough to say he killed people, but I think if you can show where he watched that video from, what if he watched that video from Columbus? There is no way that this man did not make multiple trips prior to that day. Like, think about the Dan Markel case. They had it all planned out to do it on a completely different day, and then it didn't happen. Okay. There's way too much that would have been involved in this, in my opinion, that he just was like, you know what? I'm coming and getting in my car and driving from Rockford. I have my gun, getting out, walking, shooting, leaving, driving back. So I don't believe in that at all. I think he was trying to get away with it, especially if he told people when he was maybe questioned just for like a second over the phone. Oh, I was in Chicago. Oh, where were you on December 30th? If he didn't say like, oh, I was actually in Ohio, but I didn't kill anybody. I mean, but if he said he was in Chicago, then that tells me that he was definitely trying to do something to get, make it seem like he was there. His device was probably left there. That's what I believe. But we'll see. So I know you got to be really careful when you're doing these digital dragnets, and I think that whoever ends up being his attorney is going to fight really, really difficult, really, really hard about how any of the digitals were obtained. What was the probable cause to get X, Y, and Z if they did anything like that? So I'm interested in seeing all that. I guess technically, yeah, it's only 2:12 in Rockford, so maybe it was going off of Illinois time that they were going to do 3 o'clock. That definitely could be. If that's the case, I still blame WBNX because they put out that they were going to be showing that at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, so I'm blaming them. All they had to do is just push back the time. Instead, they just deleted the whole damn live. So I don't know. And I think that my email, by the way, guys, I think my email was turned into authorities by Michael D. McKee. And if that is the case, oh God, that means it's going to be in discovery. Okay. We don't need that. So, oh yeah, I had somebody email me. That's how I found out. No, come on. That's not how you found out. Oh, thank you. We got a new pick coming our way. We have more of an angle. Spare the family. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate that. Let's go ahead and look at next up. Well, where do we go with the, hold on, I'm gonna put this up. We'll show a little bit more skin on this one. I hope your source doesn't get caught sending you. No, it's out on the internet. It's not. Yeah. That they had a pole camera inside, so all the photos are coming from what was allowed to be taken. Here's just like more of a, you could see more of him personally. It's still shitty if you ask me though. Oh boy. Okay. There you go. So we knew it was going to be quick, and he waived extradition, so he's going to be transferred on over down. He has a public defender. Oh, we got it. Look at who's on now. B10. Now they're playing it. We have the video. Here we go. Thank you, WBNS, right? WBNS, we got this? WBNS, you guys got it? Let's see. Yeah, there we go. They got it. Here we go. Perfect. Good job, guys. So
Third quarter, the defendant is present in custody.
Your name, sir, for the record? Michael McKee's. Have you had a chance to speak with him?
Yes, Your Honor.
What's your position at this time?
Yes, at this time, Your Honor, on behalf of Mr. McKee, I will assert his right to counsel. I will assert his right to remain silent. And Mr. McKee believes that the most expeditious manner in which he may defend himself against the charges pending in Ohio and to plead not guilty would be to waive his right to an extradition hearing and to have a governor's warrant and to agree to his immediate transportation to Ohio.
Understood, thank you. We will set this matter then for 2 o'clock on Monday. your status on the transfer. Anything else we can do today?
Not from
Thank you, Rick. Thanks, everyone.
Yum. Let's do it one more time. One more time. I want to say something. Ooh. Michael D. McKee saying, I am not guilty. I want to be transferred back immediately, and I want to defend myself against these allegations. Oh, boy. He wants to expedite this. He wants to be transferred immediately. And we said this was coming.
Alexander. Third quarter, the defendant is present in custody.
Your name, sir, for the record? Michael McKee's. Have you had a chance to speak with him?
Yes, Your Honor.
What's your position at this time?
Yes, at this time, Your Honor, on behalf of Mr. McKee, I will assert his right to counsel. I will assert his right to remain silent. And Mr. McKee believes that the most expeditious manner in which he may defend himself against the charges pending in Ohio and to plead not guilty would be to waive his right to an extradition hearing and to have a governor's warrant and to agree to his immediate transportation to Ohio.
Understood, thank you. We will set this matter then for 2 o'clock on Monday. Your status on the transfer.
Thank you.
Anything else we can do today?
Not from
Thank you, Rick. Thanks, everyone.
He has a limp. Okay. Right afterwards, just is following. I think
we are cutting in with breaking news this afternoon. The man accused of shooting and killing Spencer and Monique Tepe just appeared in court for the first time since he was arrested. Thanks for joining us. I'm Angela Ann.
And I'm Station again. The Tepes were found dead inside their Wineland Park home on December 30th. Their 2 young children also inside the home unharmed. After nearly 2 weeks with nearly no answers, 39-year-old Michael McKee was arrested in Illinois on Saturday. Court documents say he is charged with 2 counts of premeditated aggravated murder in the deaths of Spencer and Monique Tepe. According to documents from the Franklin County Court of Common Pleas, McKee is Monique's ex-husband.
10 TV's Lacey Crisp has been covering this story since the Tepes' bodies were found nearly 2 weeks ago.
And she traveled to Illinois to go to this court hearing. She joins us live now from Rockford with the latest. Lacey, what has happened today?
Well, the hearing lasted less than 5 minutes. I can tell you, Michael McKee walked in. He was shackled. He showed no emotion. He walked in, looked straight forward, didn't look at the large crowd that was in the courtroom at the time, mostly there for his hearing. Now, he had an assistant public defender representing him for this court hearing. Now, today was basically to decide if and when he will be brought back or extradited back to Franklin County to face the charges there where the homicides happened. Now, he waived extradition. He said he wanted to expedite the process so he could plead not guilty. So what happens now? Well, he's going to be held here at the Winnebago County Jail until the sheriff's office here can work with representatives from Columbus, from Franklin County, on transporting him back to Franklin County to be able to have his arraignment there, where he will announce how he's going to plead to these charges. Now, in the hearing today, the judge set a hearing for next Monday just to make sure that he is transported and that transport takes place. So it's kind of a guessing game now as to when officials here in Winnebago County, Illinois, can connect with the officials in Franklin County, Columbus Police, to get that transport scheduled to make it happen.
A lot of pieces, Lacey, that are moving parts here. But let me ask you again, you've been in touch with the Tepe family from the beginning. And we know that this courtroom was quite filled with people, even some showing up in scrubs. Did you see any of Spencer and Monique's family there in the courtroom for this hearing?
Yeah, I was keeping a close eye out for any of the Tepe family. Now, keep in mind, they just laid to rest both Monique and Spencer yesterday afternoon. So I did not see any of the family members there, nor did I see any of the Columbus Police homicide detectives here. I kind of expected to see some of them. I did reach out to the Franklin County Prosecutor's Office, and they did not send a representative here. They said they will officially take over the case once Mr. McKee is transferred over to Franklin County.
Now, Lacey, this is your second day there on site in Rockford, Illinois. Is there any indication what we have heard about the suspect and his whereabouts since almost 2 weeks since these murders happened?
So it's obviously a big talker. A lot of people here in Rockford and in the Chicago area are all talking about it because, they've heard about this national news about this couple, this dentist and his wife, who were brutally murdered inside their home while their young children were in the house unharmed. And so a lot of people are just talking about the fact that they're surprised that he worked in this area or was from the Chicago area. So there's a lot of interest, not just here locally, but, from the Chicago area and beyond.
Lacey Crisp live for us there at the courthouse in Rockford, Illinois. We will have much more from Illinois and Columbus starting on 10 TV News at 4.
Also, in the meantime, make sure you download our free 10 TV News app right there on your phone. We also have 10 TV Plus on your television. You'll get the very latest updates in this double homicide as we learn them. Certainly still clearly a lot to still unravel and figure out with this case.
Okay, so they either have to get a grand jury to indict him, for the record, or he is entitled to a preliminary hearing. So what that means is you can either present the information to a grand jury, everything that you have, and try to get an indictment to come back. But you'd have to do that before the next 14 days because he is entitled to have a preliminary hearing here or within that time period of 14 days. And you guys know how I am about preliminary hearings. You do not waive it and you do not push it back. That's the last thing that you'd want to do. You would want to have your preliminary hearing within your set time. So here it is. The Winnebago County Sheriff's Office will be handling McKee's transport back to the state where he is accused of murdering the pair. The transfer will involve the local sheriff's office and the Franklin County Sheriff's Office in Ohio. I'm telling you, I think he's coming back, if not today, tomorrow. But I think there's a chance that he's coming back tonight. McKee was represented on Monday by Assistant Public Defender Corey.
They spelled her name wrong. It's actually Carrie.
Her name's Carrie. Okay. I was going to say that, yeah. There will be another status hearing for McKee on January 19th at 2 p.m. The hearing would be most likely be canceled if his extradition to Ohio, according to Tom Jackaway trial administration, they wouldn't need it. Basically, they set that date for Monday there. It's like, if that doesn't happen by then, you guys, this is happening today or tomorrow that he's being brought over to Columbus. There were no friends or family of McKee in court today that authorities knew of. I mean, authorities knew of. That's an interesting person. You asked authorities. hey, do you see anybody in the courthouse that is, related to or knows Mike McKee? Very bizarre. They would not be the people to ask for that. How would authorities know? These people sometimes just crack me up. The authorities are the source if there's friends or family in the courtroom for Mike McKee. You guys, come on. Sorry, but that stuff just makes me laugh. Again, we said, Bella and I were talking about it. We said, this is not, you guys, this is not a guy that goes 10 years, if he's the guy, right? Goes 10 years, plots and plans this, executes it, and then think you're just going to be like, yeah, I did it. No. He is fighting it. We knew he was going to fight it. And now the question is, hey, Columbus PD, I hope that we've done what we were supposed to do here. I just hope and pray that we've done what we're supposed to do here. And I hope that it's nothing like the initial wellness check, okay, that went to the wrong house, not even on the right street. But I know I put it out there a couple days ago, and I said, you guys, that's going to be so key when there's an arrest made, because that crime scene has been contaminated. You have 3 people that made their way through there, that however they got in, and then they're yeah. And I will tell you guys that Diane Manacci is a phenomenal attorney here in Columbus, one of the best criminal defense attorneys. Her preparation is insane, but she has a phenomenal relationship with Jose Baez. She's death penalty certified. She's actually representing, Jose Baez is representing Shanna Gardner. You guys know, if you're new to the channel, I'm a huge Jose Baez fan. His preparation for cases, his whole team, that's how everybody should get a defense like that. The Alan Jacksons of the world. Okay. And I would not be surprised if that's the type of phone call that's being made when he's back in Ohio. But he is a cheap ass. I'm telling you, he's a cheap ass. So who knows? He'd rather stay in his car for a month than not pay, the asking price of a house that's been on the market like months prior to. And yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy. But anyways, I wouldn't be surprised but she's on a case right now with Jose. It's in Florida. That case is the Shanna Gardner case, and that case is going to trial this summer. So what happens though, something in this case, if Dr. McKee, let's say he waives his right to a speedy trial, the only way that I foresee him being able to have a Diane Manacci or like a Jose Baez combo is to waive his right to a speedy trial, because they cannot represent him in a speedy time because of a trial that he's going in Florida with. So I'm just throwing that out there because of the relationship that was built over time. Diane Manacci, the last time that she represented somebody big here in Columbus was just a couple years ago. William Hussey. It was the doctor that out of Mount Carmel that they said was providing all the bigger doses of whatever he was providing his patients, and they charged him with like 12 murders. Well, Diane and Jose, it was 2022 that case went to trial, and he was found not guilty on all 12. So he was a surgeon and a doctor that they represented. So just throwing that out there, that I could see something like this looming in the wings of but we'll see. I also think that he would want a female to represent him. I think it would look good to the jury if he had a female representing him. He wants to show that he can have like normal, like when you have a female representing him, it's going to look completely different to the jury. So that's just what I'll tell you what, if he doesn't hire somebody like that over money, he's a complete fucking idiot. I mean, we already think he's a fucking idiot, but But it's going to be, but he's claiming that it, not guilty, and he gets his day in court. We would all want that. We all have to respect that. We have to respect the process, and I'm big on that for a reason, because I've seen one too many people get wrongfully accused and then wrongfully convicted for numerous reasons. The number one reason is poor representation. So I don't think that he would qualify for a public defender. So anybody that was out there asking that, no. Unless he did something horribly crazy with his money. I mean, I don't know. So what was it? Yeah, that's whatever. Oh, no, I'm good. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up this portion of it. But please hit the subscribe button on the channel with the notifications, because we are going to be down and we are going to try to do everything we can to bring you guys the live video feed of McKee being transported and walking into where Franklin County is going to be taking possession of him and then housing him. So all I can tell you that it's something that just hit that like button, that notification button, subscribe, and that's how you can get that notification. As soon as I go live on location, it will alert you and notify you, and then you'll be able to see the video feed live. So I got to do some more research here. I'm very interested now in who's going to represent this man. And I'm very, really interested in, we got to do more digging on. I'm telling you, these digital drag nets, if you mess too much with them, they are illegal. It's a Fourth Amendment privacy thing. So I've been studying up like a crazy person on that. So I'm just, come on, Columbus. And then where's the murder weapon? How'd he get in? Who helped him? Who helped this man? I'm telling you, who helped this man? Monique and Spencer had that house on lockdown for a reason. Who helped this man? And he doesn't say it's him. He's going to point the finger at somebody else. Who? All right, guys, until next time, thank you so much. Thank you, moderators. You guys all rock. And we will chat soon. Until next time, peace out.